Imagine an era where human beings exerted zero effort to survive. In Jain cosmology, this time is known as Bhogbhumi, a passive paradise where wish-fulfilling trees literally dropped food into the hands of a motionless humanity. Then, the climate turns. The magical trees fade away into nothing, and for the first time in their existence, human beings face mass starvation. The world descends into absolute chaos. Rishabdev steps into this crisis and realizes that the era of passive consumption is over. Survival will now require human labor. He transitions humanity into Karma Bhumi, the era of action. He builds the systems necessary to save his species, teaching them how to plant crops, how to trade goods, and how to record information. This carving of the early Brahmi script represents the linguistic foundation he established to organize human society. Through Rishabdev's teachings, humanity successfully masters its physical environment. They secure their existence, and for a moment, the problem of survival seems solved. This new mastery creates a thriving society. The capital city of Ayodhya reaches a peak of wealth and stability, protected by the very laws and industries Rishabdev created. But during a massive royal celebration, a dancer named Nilayanjana collapses mid-performance. She is dead before she hits the floor. Watching her, Rishabdev sees the limit of his own kingdom. All the irrigation, commerce, and law he brought to Ayodhya cannot reanimate a single lung. He realizes that while his inventions can protect a body from starvation, they offer no defense against the nature of time itself. Mastery of the physical world provides comfort, but it leaves the spirit vulnerable to the unavoidable reality of decay. True survival requires a different kind of action. Rishabdev abdicates his throne. He abandons his wealth, discards his clothing, and walks away as a Digambara monk, seeking absolute detachment from the material world. After years of intense physical penance, he reaches the icy peak of Mount Kailash. It is here he achieves Kevala Jnana, or total spiritual omniscience. Down in the capital, his eldest son, Emperor Bharat, chooses the opposite path. Bharat takes the tools of civilization and uses them to conquer the entire globe. Decades later, a victorious Bharat arrives at a sacred mountain to carve his name into the rock as the ultimate victor. But when he looks at the stone face, he finds it already covered by the names of millions of previous emperors. To fit his own name, he has to erase the legacy of a man who felt just as powerful as he does now. His lifelong campaign of bloodshed is suddenly revealed as a footnote in an endless cycle of temporary rulers. Rishabdev found something permanent by discarding the world. Bharat, standing on the pinnacle of that same world, finds himself with nothing. Driven to validate his power, Emperor Bharat demands total submission from his brother, Bahubali. Bahubali refuses, meeting the emperor's pride with his own. To spare their massive armies, they settled the dispute through 3 personal duels: a staring contest, a water fight, and a wrestling match. Bahubali overpowers the emperor. In the climax of the final match, he hoists Bharat into the air and raises his fist for a lethal blow. But the fist stops dead in midair. In that moment, Bahubali looks at his brother and sees only his own reflection. He realizes he is about to commit murder for control over the same dirt that had already mocked his brother's vanity. He lowers his fist, hands his entire kingdom to the defeated emperor, and walks straight into the forest to find the path his father took. Bahubali subjects himself to total stillness. He stands in deep meditation for an entire year, becoming so much a part of the landscape that creeping vines weave their way up his legs. Snakes build anthills over his feet. He exerts absolute control over his physical form, yet he remains anchored to the earth, unable to reach the liberation his father achieved. Body is still, but the spirit is snagged on a single invisible thread of pride. Deep in his mind, Bahubali is bothered by a single thought. He believes he is standing on soil that technically belongs to Bharat. Even in his renunciation, he is still acknowledging his brother's ownership of the world. The deadlock breaks when Emperor Bharat travels to the forest. The conqueror of the globe bows at the feet of the ascetic, declaring that the earth belongs to no one. With that external validation gone, Bahubali's final internal attachment snaps. He instantly transcends the material world. This ancient narrative remains a living tradition. Today, Digambara monks sit near Bahubali, practicing this exact lineage of physical and mental renunciation. We can trace our evolution through this story, from the passive survival of our earliest ancestors to the building of civilizations, and finally to the discovery that material power has a ceiling. The lives of Rishabdev and his sons suggest that our highest possible evolution isn't found in the conquest of the physical earth, but in the conquest of the self.